Plaintiff Robert Graham says while he was addicted to cocaine, someone gave him a second chance and claims he's been sober for 20 years. Robert is now a licensed real estate agent and is suing because he offered to help the defendant find an apartment, but the defendant failed to pay. Defendant Leonard King says when he was younger, he took to the streets, and as a result, he landed in jail and juvenile detention centers. Leonard claims Robert is lucky he turned his life around, because had he not, this situation would have been handled differently. Leonard is countersuing because he claims Robert threatened him and his family.
Start with you.
Your Honor, before all this took place, I knew Mr. King as a very strong pillar of the community, and I was working as a counselor during that time frame to work with him to provide housing for those that needed it. But let me get into a little bit about myself, though, briefly, before we get into that. I watched my brother die from an overdose when I was in my teens.
Heroin?
Yes, heroin addiction, yes. And my father was an alcoholic, and I eventually became an addict myself.
What year?
At least 30 years ago. I've been clean for more than 20 years now.
And then what happened after that?
So what happened is during that time frame, I was in and out of jail, like for the next 15, 17 years. In again, out again, in again. My brother died instantly. My father died the same day. But I was dying every single day. I was on heroin and cocaine, every single day. And one day, someone came to me and gave me a hand and helped me. I never forgot that. After that, I went to rehab.
How?
He just said, listen, this is not what you're living for. You can do better than this. And I never forgot those words. And those words alone propelled me to get straight. I went to rehab twice. I didn't make it the first time. And after that, I went to school. I went to college. I got my degree. I studied human services. I became a counselor, a drug counselor. And I also got my license. When I met the King family, they needed help to find a place. So it was a privilege to help them.
All right, let me get some background from him, sir.
How you doing, Your Honor? First off, I would like to say, Mr. Rob, Mr. Graham, if this was so many years ago, Mr. Rob would have got dealt with in a different manner. The reason I say that is because this gentleman has threatened my family, made through text messages, threatened my wife, my kids.
What did he say he was going to do to your family?
Excuse me?
What did he say he was going to do to your family?
He didn't specifically say what he was going to do, but what he said was...
I object, Your Honor.
Let him finish.
You can object all you want. What he said was, I feel sorry for you and yours. Take it how you want it. Now, if I'm from the street, we all know what that means. That was a threat, long story short. You know, and if this was some odd years ago, Mr. Graham would have got dealt with immediately. But being I'm in the position I'm in now, as like Mr. Graham, I grew up in the streets. I was a foster care. I aged out of foster care at 21. I committed several robberies, several offenses that I'm not proud of, but I had to do what I had to do to survive in the streets. I got my life together.
How?
My daughter was born, you know, and I made a choice to either be around or be in the streets, you know.
So what'd you do? How'd that change you? You went and got a job?
I went and got a job. You know, I already had my GED from when I was incarcerated in juvenile system.
Did you learn a skill of any type before getting the job?
Not really. I mean, I did a few college. I went to school for culinary. Wasn't really my take and my liking, so I stopped doing that. I went to school for liberal arts, but once again, that wasn't for me, so.
When did you finally start working? What type of job?
Child care. I was working with mentally disabled, mentally challenged individuals.
At a group home?
Residential treatment facility.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I currently work for juvenile justice. I work with residents, you know, incarcerated juveniles, like you know, such as myself when I was younger.
I hope you're telling people so that they can be inspired by it, because you know everybody got a poor story, but we want to know how you overcame that poor story, and so that's what we want to know. I'm proud to hear that.
Thank you, sir.
Good to hear that.
Thank you.
All right, and what do you want to tell me about the contract?
They asked me to help them find a 3-bedroom apartment. I told them
I never asked you to help me do nothing, man.
Sorry, let me finish and I'll let you respond.
They asked me to help them find a 3-bedroom apartment. I did, and I said there would be a broker's fee. They agreed to that as well.
Hold on. How about
the $1,700 is whatever the apartment was, that would be the broker's fee. And this was agreed upon.
Whatever the apartment was.
Whatever the cost per month.
Okay, the first
of
month.
the apartment, I charged them, and we did a verbal agreement.
Are you a broker?
I'm a licensed real estate agent.
Okay, and he
And
knew
I have my
that
license here.
obviously. And he knew that obviously.
And yes, he knew that a long time
Okay,
ago. Yes.
all right.
So what I did is like he wasn't able to go, so I was taking his wife in my car, driving around and seeing places constantly. And every time we went someplace, it was either too much or not the right place. One day, I found the perfect place for them, and when she saw it, she fell in love with it. And she was about to have a child too. So I wanted to do whatever I could to make sure that transition was comfortable and correct, and I wanted to give something to them. But what I got by being that way was screwed. I got screwed.
Yeah, you sure did.
How so, sir?
Because after I got them the apartment, and I told him, listen, Leonard, I think it's good if you go there and speak with the landlord, because I was going there for like weeks upon weeks.
Did he rent it?
Yes, he rented the place to them.
Okay, and when you asked for your money, what did he say?
Oh, yeah, he said, no, I'm not getting nothing. He said, you didn't do anything. You don't deserve it.
Okay, did you remind him of the agreement?
Yes, I told him that. He said, you didn't do anything. He felt that he had gotten the apartment.
You don't have signed agreements for people that you represent?
I knew him from years back. I usually do sign agreements. I knew Leonard from years back.
Okay.
He said, in the days before of yore, that wouldn't have happened. In the days before of yore, if I was doing drugs, I would have confronted him, and I would have been a confrontation.
Sure,
but that's when I was.
Anything. You were a dope fiend. You ain't
Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
We both know better than that.
Let me tell you.
He and I know better than that.
Listen,
You'd have been somewhere nodding or geeking, and you'd have he'd have crushed you. Now stop all that talking big. When a dope fiend become a tough guy? Dope fiend don't do nothing but steal and run. Let me hear from you, sir.
All right, Your Honor. Like Mr. Graham said, I was looking for an apartment. Me and my wife was looking to move. She had just gave birth to my son. Initially, I had no business with Mr. Graham. My initial person I was dealing with was another broker through my family. He said, yo, my friend, X, Y, and Z.
What was the agreement with that broker?
I mean, it was pretty much like a friend of the family deal. It was, yo, I'm gonna help you. We gonna help you locate an apartment. Just take care of him. That was it. It was never no money discussed. Never no.
What did you interpret?
Nothing.
Take care of him. Come on now.
I mean, give him some money. Like that's it.
Well, it is money
Exactly.
discussed. And how did you become associated with him?
All right, the gentleman I was dealing with.
Who you had agreed to pay.
Exactly. He had some personal issues that arose that he had to go deal with. He's called me, said, yo, Lenard, listen, my man Rob, he gonna hold me down. He gonna show you a few spots I come up with. He gonna show them to you. Let me take care of this personal business I gotta handle. And when I come back, we're gonna take care of business. No problem. We never discussed nothing about Rob getting no money, no nothing. All he said was,
you had discussed that he was gonna get some money.
That who was gonna get some money?
The one that referred you to Rob.
That don't got nothing to do with me. I didn't involve him in this situation.
Oh, he didn't help you?
Look,
Answer that.
Hold on.
Yo, my man, relax yourself, dude.
I'm relaxed.
Relax yourself.
I'm relaxed.
Relax yourself. Me and the gentleman spoke. We didn't come up with a number.
Oh my God, I
Right?
don't believe this.
I'm talking about the first gentleman. It was basic, a few dollars, a couple hundred, whatever. We never came up with no number. End of the day, he said he had some issues he had to take care of.
Got that part.
Mr. Graham
Now,
was gonna step
what
in.
did this guy do for a living? Was he an apartment broker?
Listen, this is.
Don't talk to me like that. Listen,
Yes, sir.
all that. I hear you talking all the street
All right.
jargon. You're not there anymore.
All right.
And you know, big and all that. People don't fight no more. You do know that, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's
Trust
stop
me.
all that. Let's
Facts.
stop all that. Once again, you admit that you were going to pay him. So the question becomes whether you intended to pay him. He says you all had an agreement.
I never had no agreement
You
with the
said you
gentleman.
had no intention of even paying him. So the question becomes, why would you agree to pay a friend who was going to help you, but you didn't intend to pay a stranger who did help you? That sounds unreasonable. Counterclaim for harassment, sir. How does he owe you $2,000 for harassment?
Well, pretty much, sir. After my wife seen the apartment, Mr. Graham sent me some pictures. The landlord was interested. He wanted to see documents, pay stubs, what have you. Mr. Graham called me and said, listen, the landlord wants to see X, Y, and Z. All right, cool. I'm going to come by your house, pick it up. No problem. Mr. Graham gets it. He proceeds to tell me that he wants $1,700. I told Mr. Graham that That's not gonna happen. I told him he need to speak with Brother James, as who involved him in the situation. After that, I didn't hear no more from Mr. Graham. I contacted James.
Did he tell you to contact
No,
the
not at all.
person?
That-
Was
not
he
at-
referred to you by someone, right?
James and I were first working on the case. James didn't have no license. I had the
understand.
license.
And I ask you about license.
Yes, sir.
I'm asking you, did he refer this gentleman to you?
He introduced me to him, but I knew him from years ago anyway.
Introduced you to him for what purpose?
Yeah, because he needed a place to stay.
So why are you acting like that wasn't the purpose, sir?
Oh, that was the purpose.
Now you
My
playing
mistake.
slick
Okay,
again.
all right,
Now
okay.
you've been off dope for too long to be slick. You ain't slick no more. You're not slick anymore.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. All right, okay, all right.
You know that only current dope fiends are slick. Tell me about the harassment, sir.
All right, pretty much, sir. After I proceeded to sign my lease, I gave my deposit, I gave my first month rent to the landlord himself. I get a call from him. Listen, I heard you closed out on the deal, X, Y, and Z. I want $1,700. Listen, my brother, I can't help you. Your gentleman decides to text me. I have the text here thoroughly that says, you know, he wants his money. I feel sorry for you and your family. Take it any way you want it. Now, I'm from the streets. You tell me some like that, excuse my language, Your Honor, you liable to get dealt with.
I did all the work, so I'm keeping mines with me. Sorry, brother, talk with Jane. What, are you serious? I did all the work finding your place and tell you, got me for a week. I want my money, man. Don't text me no more. Okay, watch. You want to go there? Are you threatening me? I would hope not. You say, but if you ain't man enough to say you don't got it now and use some excuse about me to get out of paying, I feel sorry for you and yours. Take it any way you want. What do you mean by that, sir?
Well, what I meant by that is he told me that I wasn't going to get paid. And I said I was going to get my money any way that I have to, one way or another. And it wasn't going to be any physical confrontation. It was going to be through the legal channels.
Why did you mention him and his family?
Because he pulled his family into it. I was there and I showed his wife all the places.
What were you feeling sorry for them about?
Because he was putting them through all of this transition that was involving with me.
Through?
Because the idea is like I got him a place to live and they have to deal with all of this tension,
what
this
tension?
stress.
They don't have to deal with anything. That's between you and him.
Right, yeah, but
whether he pays you $1,700 or not. His family had absolutely nothing to do with it. Talking about you feel sorry for somebody's family. Yeah. Take it any way you want. He's right. That's a veiled threat. Remember, you grew up in these same streets.
Yes, sir.
So as he said, you all speak the same language. And so do I. I speak that language. And that's what that language means. You threaten the man. $2,000 for harassment. I do believe, however, that you do owe him some money for his contract. $1,700 for you, $2,000 for you. You're left with $300. Have a good day.